Hey folks, welcome to the week of October 3rd. This is your weekly video. Let's get started. So, you have a really interesting little discussion this week. So, go under, on our Canvas homepage, go under October 3rd, week of October 3rd. We're still in Unit 1, we're still finishing the personal statement. This is our last week on that. And you have a discussion that I'd like you to participate in, right? So, spend about at least 100, 150 words. And I want you to respond to that reading last week from Elijah Megginson, "When I applied to college, I didn't want to sell my pain." So go back and read that if you haven't. And I just want you to engage their ideas. He's talking about feeling compelled by colleges and college admission committees to really oversell his pain to get noticed or to get a scholarship or to get admissions. So what do you think of that? Is that in the culture right now? Um, that's his critique, right, of scholarships and college applications. Um, so do you agree with Megginson? Do you disagree, or both? And give reasons. And again, let's reflect his ideas back on us. Do we have to sell our pain for a scholarship application? He would say no, right? So this is in this larger discussion of us writing the personal statement. And then he has an answer to it, right? If you don't sell your pain, what do you do, right? He says focus on academics, right? Focus on the positives, not the negatives. So that's the first question. Then respond to Susan Cain's article, Not Leadership Material, Good, right? She has a really interesting argument on the overglorification of leadership skills in this country by schools, K through college, basically. So what do you think of her ideas, right? Do you agree with her? Do you disagree with her? I want you to engage these thinkers. 3, do you have any tips on how to write the personal statement for us? Something that you've discovered, something that you learned or did something really well. And then 4, in the discussion, what do you think of alternative grading, right? Can you put that in your own words? Can you describe it, right? If you can't put it in your own words, you haven't learned it. So go back and look at that reading on alternative grading from last week. And I'll answer any questions there. Okay. So let me go back. And other stuff this week, you have a few more tips on how to write a personal statement, so look at those. And the final edited scholarship personal statement is due this Friday night, right, at midnight. So you've got till Friday. You'll get my comments. They've been coming in. I just have a few more left, so check those. And the actual, right, remember you're turning this in for me. I'm one of your readers. If you want to go all the way and actually submit and apply to the South Foundation Scholarship, that will open up next quarter, right? So you should see announcements about that in the future from the college. And lastly, I wanted to give another view on what a personal statement is, and I think it definitely is a type of descriptive writing. It's kind of a descriptive essay. So I think if you think about it that way, that you have to describe an experience, you have to use detail, right? You have to use visual words, smell, hearing, right? All of the olfactory senses, right? You need to engage those. So think about it in terms of a descriptive essay, right? And just look at this little reading. Right, it goes through brainstorming a descriptive essay, right? What goes into a pizza, just sort of describing some of the words, cheese, soft cheese crust, hard crust, right? So you want to use some of that vivid language, right? Why say horse when you can say stallion, right? That's vivid language, that's description, right? Use your senses. And so look at that. And then I gave you another example of a an answer, right, to these personal statement questions, right? So check out this one, right? It's really heavy on descriptive, right? So you may be like, oh, this one's a little too descriptive. And you really want to aim for 50% story, 50% reflection on the story, right? You don't want to be like 90% telling a story and then only, the tip of the iceberg, oh, and this is what that story means. You really want to do both, right? Here's a story to describe who I am, and this is how it made me, right? This is what it means, right? This is what this experience means. This is why it matters, right? You want to do both of those things. So, see if that happens in this example. I think this one's mostly story. I think it's a really vivid story, but I think it lacks a little bit of that, well, what does this all mean? Okay, so folks, that is this week. And next week we start a new project. I'm really excited. So let's get this thing in this Friday, and I'll see you next week in our next video. Bye, folks.